At one point, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was the world's most famous person. With a brilliant smile, a toned body, and his famous slogan, "Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" He captivated millions from the WWE ring to Hollywood. He was a symbol of grit, success, and invincibility. He was a man who seemed born to succeed. However, that gleam has faded today. His walking billboard persona has been a burden, from a WrestleMania promo video that became the most hated in the event's history, to mediocre podcast appearances to a Maui wildfire fundraiser that was labeled as Tony DF. The Rock lost 5 million Instagram followers in just 5 months. A terrible fall for a once untouchable icon. Every falsehood and error tells the tale of a guy whose desire has blinded him. How did someone so widely adored come to be distrusted? How did a famous person who was fixated on winning over everyone end up ruining his own reputation? Come along as we examine Dwayne Johnson's path, from the height of his fame to his protracted decline in popularity in this video. And we have to go back to the beginning in order to comprehend today's fall. Hollywood's most phony celebrity is The Rock. Because I failed algebra, I can tell you with some degree of ambiguity that I was likely consuming between 6 and, I would say, nearly 8,000 calories per day at the time. I can assure you that The Rock does not burn enough calories to maintain this appearance, while consuming an average of 6 to 8,000 calories every day. He would be 100 pounds overweight if he truly consumed 6 to 8,000 calories per day. He can't possibly eat this much. The Rock isn't indigenous. Alright, I don't have to worry about being sued because The Rock isn't one of my patients. We will discuss the steroid cycle that I believe The Rock uses. Dwayne Johnson wasn't a celebrity by birth. Grew up in a wrestling household. He had a difficult journey to stardom. He made his WWE debut in 1996 as Rocky Maivia, a likable, innocent babyface. But the fans jeered and called him phony. His first experience of failure was the phrase "Chance of Rocky sucks," which reverberated during games. Unfazed, Johnson changed his persona to become The Rock, a brazen, haughty wrestler with witty advertisements that made fans despise him. "If you smell what The Rock is cooking" was a statement rather than merely a slogan. As a result of this metamorphosis, he became a WWE superstar who was loved by millions of people worldwide. The ring was just the start, though. Johnson targeted Hollywood, a much more difficult field. His early appearances in The Rundown 2003 and Scorpion King 2002 were poorly received by critics, who dismissed him as shallow and stuck in his wrestler persona. Fast 5 changed the tide in 2011. The Rock shot to fame as an action star thanks to his portrayal of a strong, humorous anti-hero named Luke Hobbs. He rose to fame as a symbol of diligence, self-control, and unwavering determination. However, his ability to reinvent himself was also a weakness. Whether he was a brazen wrestler, a valiant action star, or an inspirational presence on social media, The Rock had a good feel of what people wanted. But do people stay loyal to themselves when they change so much to please everyone? Despite his brilliant appearance, his polished image was resting on a shaky foundation, a little fracture that was just ready to burst. There was not much waiting for the crowd. When Johnson criticized anonymous co-stars on the set of Fate of the Furious on Instagram in 2016, the flaws were exposed. There were tales of impending tension because, despite not naming names, everyone understood he was calling Vin Diesel a coward and an amateur. Johnson reportedly wanted more screen time than his co-stars, special contract terms, and no losing in combat sequences. His friendly star image was destroyed by this. Fans were astonished because they loved The Rock's endearing smile and sense of teamwork. Behind the well-groomed appearance, they perceived conceit and self-interest. His demands distorted the spirit of group heroics in Fast and Furious. Some devoted fans praised him, claiming he was only defending his interests. But the majority felt deceived as social media exploded in X postings, labeling him a hypocrite and asking, "Is The Rock really the hero he portrays?" The Rock promptly removed the post and posted a video promoting togetherness and peace. But the fissure had already developed. He could remove the message, but fans would still question him. A celebrity will do anything, even the little things, to maintain the spotlight when their brand comes before their humanity. Every aspect of The Rock's public persona was examined from that point on, and even the slightest fabrications caused indignation. The In-N-Out Burger saga is a perfect illustration of this. The Rock frequently stated, accompanied by excited pictures and videos, that it was his first trip at the fast food restaurant between 2017 and 2023. In 2022, he published a video announcing, "This is my first time trying an In-N-Out burger," or anything from In-N-Out. In 2017, he shared a photo with the caption, "I've never been to In-N-Out." He went on to say, "I've purchased In-N-Out burgers for friends in the past, but I've never tried it, so this is my first." This is historic because it's the first time I've ever tried an In-N-Out burger, fries, or anything else from the fast food chain. He claimed to have had a third first-time encounter with an In-N-Out burger by December 2023, applauding himself for leaving a good tip while pretending he didn't know how to order or pay. However, the truth was soon revealed. His previous posts were uncovered by the online community, demonstrating that he had been to In-N-Out on several occasions. The Rock rehearsed this first-time narrative at least 3 times in 6 years, according to a thorough film recorded by well-known YouTuber Penguin Zero that received over 6 million views. He's done it 3 times now. Every few of years, he keeps acting like it's his first time trying In-N-Out. Your Instagram page still has the other 2 videos. The Rock later added, "First time In-N-Out burger experience again," after an ex-user joked. First time, or the first time, he forgot his PR team script. "I appreciate fans reminding me that I visited In-N-Out years ago and completely forgot about it." It revealed a painful truth, despite being a minor falsehood. The Rock became a living billboard, whose every public action was planned to attract attention and increase revenue. Supporters felt duped. Because they trusted him, they had invested in items he recommended, such as Under Armour shoes and Zoa energy drinks. They now viewed him as a well-controlled brand rather than a human. With a revised post and a hazy explanation, The Rock attempted to patch things up, but the damage was already done. An empire might not be overthrown by a single burger, but it was a brick that fell from the wall of his well-constructed image. Fans were outraged by his burger deception, but they were much more dismayed by his body doubts. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is 51 years old and still has an amazing physique. He tags his 4am workout videos on Instagram with the hashtag hardest worker in the room. He has established a reputation as the world's hardest worker, complete with a radiant smile and sweat trickling onto the gym floor. Millions of young admirers were inspired by this figure, which became a worldwide representation of dedication and grit. With enough persistence, anyone might become as good as The Rock's. However, his story gradually began to show flaws. The Rock frequently asserted that in order to keep his enormous muscles, he had to ingest between 6,000 and 8,000 calories per day. Many admirers saw this as evidence of his superhuman abilities, a physique that could do things that were unthinkable. Experts, however, swiftly deemed it ridiculous. Greg Doucet, a fitness instructor, put it bluntly, "Eating 8,000 calories is not going to keep someone that thin. He would gain at least 45 kg if he did." His well-publicized diet consists of roughly 3,000 calories from rice, vegetables, and cod. The 8,000 number is a purposeful exaggeration meant to create a mystique. To put it another way, his eating habits were predetermined to support his brand. His exercise videos are also criticized. The Rock looked tense, grimacing during squats in a video he described as raw, unedited high intensity. Doucet, however, revealed the reality. There are only 2 plates on each side. It's like lifting a bag of rice for The Rock. Competitors in bikinis squat more heavily. He's not worn out. To give supporters the impression that he is straining himself to the limit, he is acting. His PR staging used the picture of the tears and sweat as a prop. But observe his facial grimaces. Take note of how he appears to be pressing. 2 plates are on each side of this. A guy having the size, power, and stature of a Rock. This should be an easy task in my opinion. This is a lot of weight that many bikini contestants could lift. I'm not attempting to humiliate him in any way, but I think you're lying when you claim that this kicked your ass. This was not tough for you in any way. Then the greatest skepticism emerged. Is his body really natural? In interviews, The Rock has dismissed charges as baseless and stated that he tried steroids once when he was 18 but never again. However, the data points to a different conclusion. His body hasn't become any smaller at 50. Compared to his 30s, it has become larger and thinner. His denials are deemed unrealistic by experts. He might undergo testosterone replacement therapy, according to Eddie Hall. Joe Rogan was more direct there. No. Muscles like that don't come from TRT alone. Doucet got farther. He's not only not natural, in my opinion. I think he's doing everything he can. That body at 50 is unachievable without assistance. The Rock, in my opinion, would be receiving testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. An excellent thing to accomplish. In actuality, it's incredibly healthy and beneficial to you. HRT won't even get you there. HRT isn't that. In addition, I don't believe he's on hormone replacement therapy. He's probably on the kitchen sink. I believe he is taking everything he can and more. In contrast to your 40s and 30s, you don't get that huge into your 50s. However, he's much larger and leaner now than when you saw pictures of him in his 30s. His iconic statue was eroded by every analysis and piece of evidence. Once associated with diligence, the term was now associated with dishonesty. Millions were inspired by his message that hard work is enough, but it turned out to be a charming falsehood that gave young people a goal they could never realize if they only followed his counsel. The public had no tolerance. A worldwide ridiculing storm was sparked by the explosion of Onyx Hashrock on roids. Hard injections or hard work. He promotes delusions when selling protein shakes. The remarks quickly gained traction. While some devoted supporters attempted to defend him, the majority felt deceived. After spending money on his sponsored goods and believing his explanation, they came to the conclusion that their idol might be a living billboard, concealing a body powered by substances he would never acknowledge. The Rock decided to remain silent in the face of the skepticism. He would smile, sidestep inquiries, or reiterate his motto, hard work, during interviews. However, when a star sidesteps the facts, confidence is undermined much more quickly. Supporters realize that the only thing left to defend is a waning spotlight. Once a lovely ideal, the icon of effort picture is now revealed to be a flagrant lie. And once that trust was broken, The Rock was a towering body, covered in increasingly difficult to hide lies, rather than a symbol of willpower. At the gym, this inauthenticity continued. It permeated his film career, as he threw all on the enormous Black Adam production. The Rock's most audacious plan, to introduce a brand new DC superhero universe, with himself at its center, was Black Adam 2022. In addition to starring, he oversaw almost every element of the film's production. He promoted Black Adam as a DC gamer. However, despite spending $260 million in production and marketing, the film only made $393 million worldwide. According to an insider, it required $600 million to break even. But it didn't, losing between $50 and $100 million. Instead of taking responsibility for the debacle, The Rock gave media misleading information that said Black Adam will make between $52 and $72 million from ancillary sales and streaming partnerships. Some mocked that Black Adam would lose $50 to $100 million, but that's completely untrue. He posted a Deadline piece, revealing The Hollywood Reporter's delusions and verifying the film's financial failure. After 25 years, we finally know what The Rock's cooking cooked books, a former user made fun of. Investors and fans feel duped. Fans who had placed their expectations in The Rock were likewise emotionally devastated by the movie's box office failure. Fans referred to him as a blatant liar on X. Memes likening The Rock to a poor mathematician went viral, with one comment reading, "He thinks we're dumb enough to believe a film losing tens of millions is a success." Black Adam's failure was not merely financial. It was the first time that the public viewed The Rock as a waning star who was prepared to twist the facts to maintain his reputation, rather than as a box office king. Instead of accepting responsibility, he spun a false narrative, indicating that he had gone too far to protect his brand. The Rock lost people's trust not just by lying, but also by lacking conviction. When Joe Rogan was criticized in 2022 for using racial epithets, The Rock took to Instagram to show support, calling Rogan a great friend in writing. "Awesome job, brother. Perfectly added, looking forward to your show and some tequila." However, as the outcry mounted, one user wrote, "Dear The Rock, you're an idol to many, but using your platform to defend Joe Rogan, who used and laughed with a slur." He instantly changed his mind and apologized on social media, writing, "Dear Don Winslow, thank you so much. I completely hear you and everyone else here. Before leaving my comment, I was unaware of his use of the slur, but now I know the whole context. I've learned a lesson from this." In his podcast with Rogan, this lack of integrity was once more evident. Asking dozens of questions without allowing Rogan to answer, The Rock controlled the conversation. Rogan said that The Rock danced on eggshells, avoiding any contentious subjects, making the episode dull and superficial. One former commenter wrote, "The Rock asked Joe like 100 questions, and Joe didn't get one in." The Rock rambled about stale stuff, putting me to sleep. Disappointed, fans referred to him as a living chat, GPT, since he consistently provided sterile, unbiased responses. Following the terrible Maui wildfires in 2023, Oprah Winfrey and The Rock established the People's Fund of Maui, requesting for donations from the public and contributing $5 million each. Any assistance you can give us is much appreciated. However, he uploaded another apology video after being chastised for not contributing enough of his reported $800 million fortune and asking for help from those in need. I hear and comprehend completely. I'll perform better the next time, even though I could have done better. A previous post that received thousands of likes. The math isn't working. He might have donated his enormous amount of money and received it back within a year. There was some criticism when we first introduced the fund, and at this moment I want to acknowledge and address that backlash. And my thoughts on that are as follows. I realize that I could have done a better job, and I will do better the next time. The Rock's lack of a firm stance was exposed in both instances. He quickly changes his opinions to appease the public, turning into a faceless brand. Dwayne "The Ad" Johnson is an appropriate moniker for him, because he publishes advertisements for everything from tour buses to Terramina tequila on Instagram, about 75% of the time. When fans saw he wasn't a hero with moral convictions, but rather a person riding the tide of public opinion, they lost respect for him. His greatest downfall, however, occurred when he went back to the place where his celebrity started, and ruined his own legacy. When The Rock joined the WWE Board of Directors on January 23, 2024, he said, "I'm a builder at heart, creating things for and helping people." However, 10 days later, he entered the main plot of WrestleMania 40 and began a 3-year rivalry with WWE champion Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, a well-liked rookie wrestler who had won the Royal Rumble and was anticipated to face Reigns, was disqualified as a result of this decision. Many people thought Cody was pushed out by The Rock's newly acquired boardroom power, after he abruptly announced that he would step aside for him. The match's promotional video soon received over 700,000 dislikes on YouTube, making it the most despised move in WWE history. Those who were emotionally invested in Cody Rhodes' path felt deceived, with thousands of posts criticizing The Rock for taking the limelight away from a more worthy wrestler. The hashtag Cody deserves better hashtag went viral on X. Our idol, The Rock, is now solely benefiting himself by abusing his position of authority to take over a plot that isn't his. It wasn't simply fans that reacted negatively. Disappointment was expressed by several WWE wrestlers, even some who used to look up to The Rock. In an interview, well-known wrestler Seth Rollins publicly denounced The Rock, saying his behavior was disrespectful to people who had devoted years to WWE. According to an insider, internal conflict resulted from The Rock's meddling, which interrupted WWE's creative plans. Because of the overwhelming criticism, WWE changed the plot in April, bringing Cody Rhodes back to defeat Roman Reigns. The Rock stated on Instagram that his departure was a part of a larger scheme to stir up controversy. A few supporters laughed. Larger scheme, more akin to a fan-loss strategy. The decades-long affection for The Rock was suddenly gone. He destroyed his own legacy, which was founded on justice and trust, in addition to losing respect. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's decline from box office king to fallen star didn't happen overnight. Rather, it took a year to come apart. He lost thousands of Instagram followers every hour for the first time in his career. This was a startling change for a celebrity who had 400 million fans just a year before, and was gaining 5 million every month. A Red Notice sequel in Jungle Cruise 2 was one of his new film ideas that was postponed or canceled. Once associated with achievement and motivation, his name is now associated with recklessness, inauthenticity, and unbridled ambition. Every controversy contributes to the collapse. His posts criticizing Vin Diesel revealed his conceit. He was willing to stage everything for appearance, as seen by his diet and lies about in and out. The hard work as enough ambition was destroyed by allegations of steroids. The failure of Black Adams demonstrated his invincibility. His lack of conviction was demonstrated by his vacillating on the Joe Rogan and Maui scandals, and his status as a living billboard. Ultimately, the 2024 WWE scandal dealt the final blow, shattering the affection of fans. The story of The Rock has a clear lesson. No one is pleased when you try to please everyone. Authenticity is lost when an individual turns into a brand. Their audience is genuinely connected to them only through this. Little lies, unprofessional behavior, and a lack of character were the foundations around which The Rock built his empire. He made an effort to be everything, a walking business, an action star, and a legendary wrestler, but ultimately an empty shell. His demise serves as a warning. Fake grins or hollow apologies are a surefire way to fail, in a world where audiences are looking for authenticity. The Rock forgot that he didn't have to be flawless to be appreciated. All he had to do was be himself. The terrible story of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's demise also teaches us a valuable lesson. He used to be a symbol of perseverance, hope, and achievement. He appeared to be a man who could accomplish anything, but unbridled ambition turned him into a twisted caricature of himself, a walking company devoid of moral character and authenticity. Does The Rock have a chance to return? Maybe, but only if he accepts Dwayne Johnson as a genuine human being with imperfections, errors, and honesty instead of trying to be The Rock, an ideal, unbeatable icon. From the ashes of his old empire, he must re-establish trust, accept criticism, and take responsibility for his mistakes. The issue yet stands: does Dwayne Johnson have the guts to take off the living billboard mask and face his own self in a society where authenticity is the most valued currency? Or will he continue to concoct tales that are stuck in the shadow of The Rock? Time will tell.